Most people do not look at a bird and imagine a mind. They imagine feathers, wings, a beak, tiny legs moving too fast, a chicken pecking the ground like it forgot why it started, a pigeon walking around trash on a sidewalk, a parrot screaming human sentence it probably does not understand. Birds seem simple, almost too simple. And because their heads are so small, we assume their thoughts must be small too. But then something strange happens. A crow bends a piece of wire into a hook to pull food out of a tube. A pigeon finds its way home across hundreds of miles. A parrot copies a human voice so perfectly it sounds like someone else is in the room. And even a chicken, the animal we use as a symbol of stupidity, turns out to remember faces, social ranks, danger signals, and patterns in its world. So maybe the real question is not, are birds smart? The better question is, why did we assume they were stupid? For a long time, humans imagined intelligence in a very human way. Intelligence had hands, it had facial expressions, it used tools, it spoke, it solved problems the way we solve problems, and most importantly, it had a large brain. Birds did not fit that picture. A chicken does not look thoughtful. A pigeon does not look like it is calculating anything. A crow does not raise an eyebrow before solving a puzzle. So we judge the outside and assume we understood the inside. Start with the chicken. Almost nobody thinks of chickens as intelligent animals. They run strangely, panic easily, stare at the ground, and look like nature made a bird and then forgot to add dignity. But chickens are not empty little machines. They recognize other chickens, they remember who is above them and below them in a group. They learn where food appears. They react differently to different dangers. To us, that may not look impressive. But to a chicken, knowing which shadow means nothing and which shadow means death is not a small thing. Then there are pigeons. In cities, people treat pigeons like flying trash. But pigeons are incredible navigators. For centuries, humans used them to carry messages because they could find their way home from places they had never seen before. A pigeon does not open a map. It doesn't understand roads the way we do, but it reads the world through smell, sunlight, landmarks, memory, and maybe even magnetic cues. A city that looks random to us may be full of invisible signs to a pigeon. And that is one of our biggest mistakes. We think intelligence means solving human problems. But a pigeon doesn't need to pass a human test. A pigeon needs to solve pigeon problems. Then come parrots. Parrots disturb us because they cross a strange line. They use our voices. A parrot can copy a laugh, a name, a ringtone, a doorbell, even a sentence. Sometimes it sounds less like an animal imitating a person, and more like the room itself has started remembering people. Yes, sometimes it's just imitation. But parrots are deeply social animals. In the wild, sound is connection. Calls identify individuals, coordinate groups, and keep the flock together. So when a parrot copies humans, maybe it's not trying to become human. Maybe it is trying to join the strange flock it lives with. And then there are crows. Crows are where the star becomes hard to ignore. Crows solve puzzles. They use tools. They remember human faces. They learn from each other. Some hide food, then move it later if they think another bird was watching. That matters, because this is not just reaction. This begins to look like planning. Imagine a small black bird watching you, remembering you, judging whether you are dangerous, and changing its behavior because it understands that another mind may have information it can use. That is not how humans usually imagine a bird. We expect intelligence to look like dolphins, whales, apes, elephants, animals with big bodies, big brains, or faces that feel closer to ours. Birds are different. They are not little mammals with wings. Their brains are organized differently. Their bodies are built around flight. Their evolutionary path is far away from ours, and yet they arrived at something strangely similar. Memory, tools, communication, social learning, problem solving, planning. Not with hands, with beaks. Not with human faces, with feathers. Not with a brain that looks like ours, with a brain that found another way. And maybe that is the real lesson. Birds are not smart because they are secretly like humans. They are smart because intelligence doesn't have to look human. A dolphin understands the ocean in a way we never will. A whale hears distance in a way that makes our world feel almost silent. And a crow sitting on a wire above your head, maybe watching the street with a mind we underestimated because it came in the wrong shape. So the next time you see a bird, especially an ordinary one, pause for a second. The pigeon may know the city better than you do. The parrot may know which sounds control the giants around it. The chicken may be tracking a small social world you barely notice. And the crow on the roof may remember your face long after you have forgotten it was even there. Birds should not be this smart. At least not according to the story humans told ourselves. But maybe the problem was never that birds has tiny minds. Maybe the problem was that we expected intelligence to look familiar. And sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes intelligence has feathers.